Now, what is Gradle? You should know that Gradle is the build system. Gradle is the build system that was introduced to Android application, Android development. Now, what is the build system? You see, when we run our Android application, when we are, let's say we are working with our design, then we also we also created a lot of code, and we are really good to go with our Android application. Now we want to install our Android application to a phone, right? Now, how do we actually install our Android application inside a phone? Because these are just random files and they are like spread out in different folders, right? How can we actually create something that will be installed inside a phone? Well, in order to do that, what we do is that we actually create something called an APK file, Android package file. Now, what is an Android package file? You see, when we generate an Android package file, once we are done with our programming, once we done with everything with our Android application, we create an Android APK file. Now, what is this APK file? You see, an APK file is a file with a .apk suffix which contains everything that you need in order to install your application inside your phone. Alright, I will say it again. An APK file is a file that contains everything that you need in order to install your application inside a phone. Now, for example, when you download an application from Play Store, let's say Google Play Store, what you are actually downloading is the APK file, and that APK file that you download has everything that you need to install that specific application. Now we are talking about this, remember? Now this Gradle is the build system that builds that APK file. Alright, now you might be thinking, what is this doing here? I mean, why do you need this code here? Because that build system is there and it can work, I know, but what is this thing doing here? Well, the thing is that using Groovy programming language, we can actually write different kind of code here, and we can actually change different sections of these codes. We will be talking about this later on in even more detail, but we can change different configurations here in these scripts, in these pages, windows, and we can actually change a lot of stuff about our Android application. So that's what this section does. Now we are not going to be talking about this section right now. We are going to be talking about it later when we actually learn about Android Gradle and dependencies. Alright, so this is part 1 of my making you familiar with Android application, Android Studio, and I will be talking about other stuff in maybe part 2 and 3. So yeah, and okay, have a good day and have a good night.